What it do, crew? My name is Ver and welcome back to the channel. I'm super stoked about today's video because it is about mortgages. No one? How about personal finance? Well, if you decided to click on this video, you're probably someone who has a mortgage, or you're thinking about purchasing your first home on a mortgage, or maybe you're just on YouTube and YouTube doesn't do that thing that Netflix does where it asks, are you still watching? Since you are, here are 5 ways to pay off your home mortgage fast, ranked easy to hard. I personally use some of these methods to pay down my mortgage since I do own a home with my fiance here in Southern California. So with that, let's get into the video. So the first method is pretty easy. When you have a mortgage, whether it's a 15-year or a 30-year, you have a set amount that you pay per month that starts off by going towards your principal and interest, plus if you have an impound account. But to keep things simple, you have a set amount that you pay per month. The first method is to just pay extra on your mortgage payments. Most of the time when you have a mortgage, there is the ability to pay more towards your principal balance. Minimally, you'll be making the 12 payments per year if you just decide to pay your monthly payments, but if you pay a little bit extra, whether you have like extra money lying around, or say you get an end of year bonus, or even around tax season, you can use that lump sum to put towards your principal and that could count as an extra payment. Making the equivalent of 13 payments in 1 year can cut your loan length from 30 down to 27, and then making 14 payments equivalent, so just 2 extra payments in a year, can cut you down to 23 years on a 30-year fixed rate loan. How this works is whenever you have a fixed rate loan for a certain term, the faster you can get your principal balance down, the faster you will be able to make majority of your payments go towards principal rather than interest. Because at the beginning of a 30-rate fixed rate loan, you're going to have majority of your monthly payment go to interest. So the second method in paying off your home mortgage fast is different from the first method, but it could be argued that it's the same as making those extra payments, but basically it's paying off your mortgage early. Say you have that 30-year fixed rate loan, but now you're at year 20 and you have about 1/3 of your loan left to pay off. But also say you have that lump sum of money just saved in a savings account that you want to just pay off your mortgage. Basically, if you just take that lump sum from your savings and then throw it into your mortgage to pay it off, now you own your home outright. The mortgage length went from 30 years to just 20 years, and now you can start using money that you were putting towards your mortgage payments towards something else, like building up your savings again or investing. The reason why this is second on the list because it's not as easy as just making an extra payment where it's a smaller sum. Basically, a larger sum of money to pay off a huge mortgage can be a little bit harder, but that is really the fastest way that you can pay off your mortgage. There is no trickery to it where you generate money. Basically, any money that you make has to go towards the principal amount in some way, shape, or form, whether there's interest on it or there's not, but paying off principal as fast as you can help you pay off your mortgage fast. Consequently, making that lump sum payment ties up a huge amount of cash in your house, but now you don't have a mortgage. So here are some methods that are little nifty tricks that I've found where it takes a little bit of time to get used to and moves up in difficulty, but it really isn't. So here we go. The third method to help pay down your mortgage fast is making bi-weekly payments. The thing is, not every bank or lender offers this, but basically you would have to call them up, or before you actually sign onto a mortgage, you have to ask, is there the ability to make more recurring payments? The idea here is instead of one monthly payment per month, you're going to make bi-weekly payments where you make half of the amount of your monthly payment every other week. I definitely suggest asking your lender how you'd be able to set this up once you start your mortgage payments, because I personally had to go to the bank. I had to tell the banker I want to make bi-weekly payments on half the amount of my monthly mortgage payment, and they were super confused. Basically, to the banker, it seemed like magic, but if we do some math here, it actually makes a lot of sense. If you take half of your monthly mortgage payment, divide it by 2, and pay it every other week, it actually comes out to 26 payments within a year. So if we take that 26 payments and then those are half mortgage payments, that's going to come out to 13 full monthly mortgage payments. Remember my first point about making extra payments in a year? This is just a subtle trick where you can implicitly make 13 payments within a year, cutting down your loan term by 4 years. It's a psychological thing where you don't feel like you're paying more within a year, but technically you are by that math. For some, this actually works out because if you're in a job that pays you every other week, you get paid, pay your mortgage. You get paid, you pay your mortgage. But let's take this a step further. I mentioned making bi-weekly payments, but what if we paid weekly? If you do the math weekly, like if you divide your monthly payment by 4 and then make it weekly instead, it'll actually come out to be the same thing of 13 payments in a year. But say you took 14 14 equivalent payments where you multiplied your monthly payment times 14 and then divided it by 52. Technically, you could do the same thing with biweekly payments where you take your 14 monthly payments and then divide that value by 26, and that would be your biweekly amount to pay. So similar to the one extra payment, if you make 2 extra payments on your loan for the equivalent of 14 payments in a year, you'll go from 30 years down to 23 years for the life of the loan. I posted a link in the description below, which is basically a free mortgage calculator where you can basically calculate how much would it take to pay it off regularly versus if you made an extra payment, an extra 2 payments, and so on. This next method is actually something really cool that me and my fiance did, but it does move up in difficulty because it does take some time, it does take some patience, and there's a little bit of work involved. So if you're new to my channel, me and my fiance were featured on CNBC Make It, where we bought a home, they showcase it on there. It's on CNBC Make It's YouTube channel, link in the description below. But basically, when we purchased our home just over 2.5 years ago, our mortgage interest rate was 4.125. Currently, mortgage rates have reached all-time lows, so we decided that we wanted to refinance our place as soon as possible. The crazy thing is we were getting quotes from 3% down to 2.5%, and we were able to find a lender to bring us down to 2.75%. Backing up a bit, let me clarify what a refinance is. So basically, you have a current mortgage, you go to a bank or a lender and you say, hey, I want to refinance my mortgage, and they give you a brand new loan where they pay off your current loan, and then you're starting payments all over again, starting from 0 to 30 years. That totally depends on what sort of loan you get, but if you have a 30-year loan, basically if you refinance it into a new 30-year loan, you're basically starting all the way back from 0. The crazy thing is going from an interest rate of 4.125 down to 2.75 will save us over $200,000 in interest than we would have paid on the original loan. So if we were to keep that 4.125 mortgage and then we paid it off for the 30 years, we would have paid close to just under $1 million in total, including the principal and interest. But since we mortgage refinanced our loan down to 2.75, we're actually saving that extra $200,000, and we're only going to be paying just about an extra $200,000 or $300,000 in interest. That, compounded with appreciation as well as time, makes it not a bad investment to do so.
Oh, what do you mean this helps pay down your mortgage fast? You're starting from 0 again and you have to wait 30 years until you pay that off.
Well, I would argue this. Since you're making a lower mortgage payment, you get to 1, take that difference, invest it and save it somewhere else, or say you wanted to keep continuing making the same payment amount where you're making more payments towards your principal. But in that latter case, say instead of making that lower payment, you actually make the same amount that you were paying before the refinance. You're paying the new minimum monthly payment plus an additional that goes directly to principal, bringing your principal balance down.
That'll accelerate your loan payoff, so now go away.
Just kidding, but a refinance is a very powerful tool in real estate, and really refinancing any loans, if the terms permit, makes sense too. You can save a lot of money, you can lower your monthly payments, and in some cases you can actually pull out cash from the equity that you have in your home to put towards other investments, do a remodel, or, purchase something nice. This is totally beyond the scope of this video, but the reason why I mentioned that last bit is because going through a refinance takes a lot of time and patience. Basically what we had to do was we were shopping around for a lender, like we asked one lender, then we asked another lender, they gave us quotes, and then we started competing with each other until we found one that we wanted to do, and then we moved through that process. Then we had to go through underwriting, where you have to gather tax documents, pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns, like literally everything that has to do with your money, your savings, your checkings, your investments, any way to prove that you qualify for that loan, and that could take a long amount of time. There was an appraisal that happened in the midst of it where we had an appraiser come to our house, look around, take pictures. It's a whole formula, but basically going through a refinance takes some time. So if you have a mortgage at a high rate and the rate is lower, that would make sense to refinance your loan, and it is okay to do that because you're getting a lower rate and you have all these chances to save a lot of money. And this last method might be kind of controversial, but at the same time, I looked at the math in it and it actually checks out. And it is called velocity banking, or it could be known as mortgage acceleration. So I was scrolling through YouTube one day after our refinance closed, and I came across a video that said how to pay off your mortgage in 5 years. Me, myself, I was very intrigued in how this would be the case, because anytime I see some clickbaity title like this, I think it's a scheme. We just closed on a new refinance, so we basically restarted the clock on a 30-year fixed rate loan. So wouldn't it be cool to pay off that loan by 2026? I looked into this velocity banking, and it is freaky fast. Like freaky fast. Well, maybe not Jimmy John's freaky fast, but it's pretty quick, and this is what it is. Mortgage acceleration or velocity banking involves the leveraging use of a HELOC, and what a HELOC is a home equity line of credit. Essentially what you're doing in a HELOC is you're using the equity that you own in your home as a bank or a line of credit to use payments towards your mortgage as well as other daily expenses. You can borrow money against the value of your home and use it like a credit card where you use money and then you pay it back, and it's like a revolving credit. You then only pay back what you use. So basically you open up a HELOC that you qualify for, and then you make a lump sum payment from that HELOC onto your mortgage, and then over time you're making your monthly payments on your mortgage while you're paying down your HELOC, and then at the moment of time when you have another lump sum amount in your HELOC, you do the same thing again. Here's an example to better explain. Say we have a mortgage for $100,000 and an interest rate of 5%. Our home is appraised at $125,000, so we have $25,000 in equity. We currently have monthly income of $4,000 and then monthly payments totaling up to $3,000, which includes the monthly mortgage payment, giving us a $1,000 cash flow. Banks can offer HELOC products up to 90% the value of your home. So in this case, it would be $112,500 minus the current mortgage of $100,000. So a HELOC could be opened with the line of $12,500. The rate on that bad boy could be anywhere from 3% to 7%. And there are a lot of HELOCs out there, and this is where they get a bad rep, where they have a variable rate. There are also some HELOC products out there where there is a fixed rate and it could be as low as 3% too. The devils are in the details, but I think this is why this gets so much bad rap, is because sometimes people get HELOCs with really bad terms. Do your own research, but let's keep going. Now with that new HELOC open, make a huge lump sum payment to your mortgage. In this case, let's just say $6,000. Then you continue to make your monthly payments on your mortgage, and then you pay down your HELOC, and then about after 6 months, you can make another lump sum payment of $6,000 to your mortgage. Basically, you do this, rinse and repeat, and then instead of after 30 years your loan is paid off, your loan can be paid off in just 6 or 7 years. Now, this definitely sounds too good to be true, but the thing is, it isn't. It can be done. But at the same time, it would take a lot of research. You have to research like what type of HELOC product you would get. You'd have to do the math if it makes sense for you, because at the same time, in the example that I gave, you're dumping all of your income back into the HELOC and your mortgage payment, and there's, other things that you can buy, like diapers or milk or eggs, whatever. Like, you go through the HELOC to do that, but then you're spending a lot of your money just paying off the HELOC and not being able to save or invest in other things. So there are definitely a lot of caveats involved, and that's why I put this difficulty as the hardest method to pay down your mortgage fast. The cool pros about this method is that you can have your mortgage paid off fast, you can save a lot of money in interest despite having an interest rate on the HELOC as well as the mortgage, and you have quicker access to cash that you wouldn't otherwise have if you just go with a mortgage.
But there are definitely cons too, and here are some of the ones that I found.
HELOCs can have variable interest rates. So I did mention there are HELOC products that have fixed ones, but there are also ones that can have variable ones. Like 1 year you can have an interest rate of 4%, and then the next year it could bubble up to 10%. It's crazy, so you got to be careful there. Another thing is credit is a very important factor to get qualified for a HELOC. When you have got a mortgage, when you have credit card debt, your credit could be, average, could be below average, but if you have really good credit, then yeah, sure, get a HELOC, but then you run the risk of, maybe missing a payment, or if something bad happens, how are you going to pay your HELOC or your mortgage? It's not to scare you, it's just there is elevated risk with it, but the calculations do check out. Velocity banking also requires free cash flow, and I think this is where the line is drawn for me personally. I do have a high income, but at the same time, I'm setting aside a good amount of it to, the stock market and index funds, or I'm putting it in a savings account to potentially put on a down payment for an investment property. If I were to do it and then keep doing my investments in the index funds or the stock market, or trying to save money towards an investment property, then I would honestly decelerate the process, or I'd probably be doing it wrong. But I will say this, it does check out for certain individuals. Like, if you have the ability to, if you have the means to, go ahead and do it. But to each their own, and definitely do your research and due diligence, because again, I'm not a financial advisor, but it is for whoever destroys the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Anyways, if you stuck through this video, and I know not everyone does, and that's okay, but if you did, I sincerely believe that paying off your mortgage fast is doable if you follow some of these methods that I listed out here. I personally do them with the exception of that last one because it is on the hard tier or the S tier, and that's just because I think it's really hard, but it is out there. So if you haven't already done so, please remember to obliterate the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell so you know the next time I post a video on my channel. You can find me on Instagram. I do have a lot of fun there. Feel free to add me there. We do have fun, or at least I do. And don't forget to go to the links in the description below to get 4 free stocks from Webull. One of them could be valued up to $1,600, one from Robinhood. Also, you could win some prizes. Go to Millennial Investments through my link in the description below. Sign up to win prizes like phone cases, shirts. It's all really cool, but at the same time, Millennial Investments has articles on personal finance, real estate investing, investing in general, life hacks like Secret Shopper. It's really all good content to help you build your wealth, whether it's on my channel, through there, or in your inbox on your email. So subscribe there. If you enjoyed this video or you learned something new, take that and get to work.
Bye.